write that. I wish I did.
You're a piece of work, Nichols.
This means 30 seconds. Very good.
Recovery doesn't start tomorrow.
Calling all angels.
Recovery starts right now. And here to help is Rated R for Recovery.
Calling all you angels.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the ongoing saga known as Rated R for Recovery. I'm an addict and alcoholic. My name's John.
Hey.
We have something very special tonight, and this woman that's sitting across the table from me is one of my best friends in the whole world, and a mentor and an accountability partner. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eileen.
Hi, Eileen. You're very popular amongst friends
As are
and
you, my
families.
friend.
So welcome to another episode of Rated R for Recovery, Rated R, the number 4, recovery.com. We are a recovery-based, faith-driven program bringing hope, healing, and restoration to individuals and their families impacted by addiction. Through interviews, sharing information, and entertainment, we strive to be a catalyst for change for all who wish to recover. This segment of the show is brought to you by JCI Solutions. JCI Solutions is a commercial and residential painting company owned by our friend Mike M. You can reach them at 239-672-2673. Now, we're going to have a little bit of a different spin on the show this week. As you can see behind me is Kelly and her husband, Alan. Give them a nice round of applause. So congratulations are in order because this couple just got off a private jet. What was it, last week?
Yeah.
As they did a brand new album in Nashville, Tennessee. Alan, what is that album called?
The album's called Trying My Best to Live.
And I think we should not only know what the album is, but find out how we can hear it online and how we can buy it.
Perfect, Kelly. It's all, we actually have business cards right down in front. You can just scan the code. It's on every platform.
Am I on? Oh, I'm on. Yes, it's on every platform where you can stream music. We also have 2 singles one that just came out last month and one that actually comes out tomorrow. You will hear both tonight.
So it's on every type of social media thing you could think of.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so should we. We unfortunately lack a social media person, so if there's anybody out there within the sound of my voice that is in Lee County, Florida and like to help us with social media, we'd gladly accept your help. But right now, let's go back to Kelly and Alan. Why don't you start off the show with a song? How's that?
That sounds great to us.
Why don't you tell us what it is?
Yeah, this one's called Roll of the Dice. We released this a couple months ago. We wrote this, I don't know, quite a few years ago.
It
But
was the first song we wrote when we moved to Florida.
yeah, it's called Roll of the Dice. It's a fun one. Here we go.
Very nice. Mute my mic.
You can run like the wind if you're watching your step. A new life can't begin if you're holding your breath. You can't feel the sun above in the shadow of someone else. You'll never find true love if you don't take a chance for yourself. Every day of your life is a roll of the dice. We don't hold no control, so let it go, let 'em fly. Yeah, every day of your life is a roll of the dice.
You can't chase down a dream if there's no dream to chase. There's no song to sing if you don't let the music play.
Here we go.
Don't let the world hold you back.
Gotta get to the front and see. Tomorrow ain't a fact. Your next breath ain't guaranteed. Every day of your life is a roll of the dice. We don't hold no control, so let it go, let 'em fly. Yeah, every day of your life is a roll of the dice. At the end of the day, life's a numbers game. There's only so many beats a heart can make.
Every day of your life
is a roll of the dice. Every day of your life is a roll of the dice. We don't hold no control, so let it go, let 'em fly. Yeah, every day of your life is a roll of the dice.
Very nice. Let's
As Johnny Carson used to say, why don't you come over to the couch?
so come on over and tell us a
Sounds better
little.
when Johnny says it. No offense.
Everyone's a comedian now all of a sudden. So guys, have a seat here and tell us. You got that, Kelly?
Check.
Let me see. Is it on? Oh, there you go. All right, so why don't you guys tell us a little bit about what you were like, what happened in what you're like today, and maybe how you met, too.
Cool, we'll get going. Thanks for having us tonight. Yeah, my story is basically, I can go in three parts. I had the first time I ever drank was 2 drinks. The second time I drank, I was hooked. I refused to drink growing up because I saw what it did to my family, and I wasn't going to be like that. Second time I drank, I was done. Very young when it happened. I had 30, 60, 90, 30, 60, 90. They used to come to me at meetings and try to collect chips for the group because I had so many of them. But you know, it was like, don't drink, go to meetings, call someone every day. And it didn't work. Then I had a period where I got to 6 years, and almost 6 years. And I picked up a drink after almost 6 years. But I did learn a valuable lesson. See, the first time, I drank away my life. The second time when I relapsed after almost 6 years, I learned that, the drinking wasn't the problem, it was me. And I totally destroyed my life without even drinking. I went to some meetings here and there, and that was about it. And then this last time, it's been since October 22nd, 2013. One thing was different. Someone taught me exactly what was in here. Again, I'm an alcoholic, but I've learned it doesn't really matter. Alcohol, drugs, me is the problem. And so that was sort of that in a nutshell, and I learned everything from here, and that's what I'm doing today. And Kelly, I grew up in New Jersey, moved to Charlotte, North Carolina for 3 years, went to Nashville to start chasing my music dreams, and that's where Kelly and I met. And I was playing music with a friend of mine, and he called me up. He said, "Hey, I'm dating this girl. Can you get her a job?" I said, "Sure." And here we are today, married almost 11 years.
Not only can I get her a job, I'll take her for my own. And pardon me for not, I am listening to you, but we have some technical difficulties that I'm trying to work out.
No
That's
problem.
why I'm going to my phone. Kelly, how about a little bit about you?
Yeah, well, I'm from Maryland, and I lived in a lot of different places. And I say that because I was allowed to get away with my drinking for a little bit. See, I wasn't one of those that the second time I picked it up, I crossed the line. It was a little bit more gradual for me. I started drinking when maybe most or a lot of us do in college, and it was fun. I'd have my consequences. I always seemed to be able to drink more than other people. I just thought that was kind of cool at the time, like I can outdrink even the big old guys, you know, but I didn't really understand what was going on physically might be a little bit different than other people. As I got into my 20s, I lived in several different cities, and every time I just had a lot of bad luck. You know, things just kept not working out so well. I'd lose a job, I'd lose a boyfriend, I'd, run into trouble, couldn't pay my rent, end up back at parents' house, and that kind of thing. And I would dust off my feet and do it again. The drinking did increase, the consequences increased, as I know happens, right? And I also was living in Charlotte, North Carolina at the same time as Alan, but it was before we met. It wasn't the right time yet, but in Nashville we did meet. We were co-workers. He was sober, I was not. Fast forward a little bit, we start dating. He's in a relapse, so it worked out, till it didn't. And then he's getting some help for his drinking. And at this point, we're engaged. And I don't know where that leaves my drinking. So I tried to cut back. I tried to stop on my own. Those did not work for me. I decided to give AA a try. Thankfully, I was taught the big book right away, and it's been going ever since. And I'm really grateful that by the grace of God, I have not had to pick up since December 2nd, 2013. And
You notice something, Eileen, that both of the kids here, I call them kids because everybody's younger than I am, face it. So both of you guys have books in front of you.
Yeah.
And I was told early on that when I went to a meeting, to watch for the people that had the books in front of them, because they're the ones that are paying attention in class. They have their textbooks with them, and I am obsessed about that myself. My sponsor said, I want you to bring your book with you to every meeting you go. So, yes, sir, I don't know how to stay sober, whatever you say. And I was kind of, yep. And that's what I did. And I realized as I go through this process that the drugs and alcohol are merely a symptom to a greater problem, which is what Alan alluded to. I don't have a drinking problem, I got a thinking problem. And if I change the way I think, then I change the way I live.
Yeah, and oddly enough, when I first came in, I came around in like 2004. No one I started in New Jersey. No one ever did this with me. A guy who I still consider my sponsor today, he's now in South Dakota. He didn't do this with me. No one did this. And we moved here in 2017. And I started going to these morning AWOL meetings, and I met a guy there, his name was Gabe, and I just liked him, and we started going in the mornings, and then he told me, he's like, listen, I got this other meeting, and there's led by these two guys, and you're either going to love them or you're going to hate them. I said, all right, well, let's go. And we went there one morning, and
Wasn't Charles, was it?
it was Dick and Charles.
Very good,
And,
Yes.
and I get to this meeting, and this guy,
It's an acquired taste,
Yeah.
everybody, I'm just saying.
he opens up the book, and he's like, do you know what Alcoholics Anonymous is? And I thought, yeah, I mean, you go to meetings and stuff. And he read this title page. It's the story of how many thousands of men and women have recovered from alcoholism. And I heard that. And then he said, we go through it with a dictionary. And they started going through these words and breaking down the meanings. And I was blown away immediately. I had never heard it. And then I had ended up sitting with him for over 2.5 years going through this stuff. And at that time,
Very
I
good
worked at White
teachers.
Sands.
Very good teachers, yeah.
So that's what I was like, oh, wow, that's what I was missing.
it's
Okay.
funny because we moved here obviously at the same time, but I came down about a month earlier just because I had to start a job before we could close on the house in Nashville. And I met a group of women that were doing the same thing, and I asked one of them to sponsor me, and she started taking me through this book in this textbook format, as
Sure.
John said, and it was something that I'd read previous, but studying it was a different thing. And learning, because unlike Alan, who said right away he knew he was an alcoholic, just didn't know how to stop or stay away from it. And for me, my struggle was I don't even know if I am an alcoholic, because I don't know if I fit what I think the textbook definition of an alcoholic.
No
or an addict
DUIs
is.
for you?
I didn't have
No
some
jail
of the
for
same
you?
consequences.
Well, the actually in this textbook in chapter 4 in the first paragraph it says, when I stop, I can't stay stopped. And I could pass a lie test stopped. And when I start, I have little or no control over the amount I take. And that's definitely me. And my story, like yours, was a gradual progression.
Yeah.
The only reason I call myself an alcoholic, so when I introduced myself at the beginning of the show, I said, I'm an addict and alcoholic. My name is John. And why I call myself an alcoholic is because I'm the guy that I could go out to lunch with you and I could have a beer and drink half of it and leave it. But once I get an alcohol buzz, I'm off to the dope man. And that's why I call myself an alcoholic. Therefore, I am powerless over what the alcohol does. And then smoking crack kind of makes my life unmanageable. Just saying. So that's that. Yeah.
I love that you brought up those two questions because that was what made it so clear, right? I didn't need a 200 questionnaire, to guess, just can you stay away from it forever on your own? And I couldn't. I was trying to do it and I couldn't. And do you have control over the amount when you start?
I remember
it's very simple.
the first time, because I had gone back out to treatment, and the last time I relapsed after almost 6 years. I made it another year. And then after the year, I relapsed again, and I knew it was happening, and I couldn't, it took me months and months. And I remember my prayer before that last relapse, because I was with my ex, and she'd asked me to change. I think, why do I need to change,
It's you that needs changing, not me.
But I prayed specifically, God, please change me. That's all I prayed, and it was like 5 to 6 months of absolute awfulness, but that's what got me in the last time. And I remember, Kelly texting me one day. She's like, I got 30 days. I'm like, I didn't know you were counting, but she started to, and it was difficult in the beginning, sort of, because I mean, no doubt I was, and I knew, it was funny because when I worked with her and I was sober, right, I saw her coming into work hungover, looking like crap. I made her coffee, and I used to say, we're saving a seat for you, and she didn't know what that meant at the time, and so it was very difficult. And in the beginning, we faced some challenges, but we kept on going.
So we're going to take a short break right now. When we come back, Alan and Kelly are going to talk about a program called Way of Living. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay.
The group
All right.
name, yes.
So give Kellen and Alan a nice round of applause for the first segment. We have a message from one of a couple of our sponsors. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery and RatedRforRecovery.com.
A brighter tomorrow. Whether it's counseling, recovery support, or simply finding hope, we provide the tools and community to help you rise. Take the first step toward healing today. Visit thenextstep.org and discover how we can support your journey to wellness. Remember, every step forward is a step toward a better you. The Next Step, your path to hope, starts here. With offices in Fort Myers and Naples, 844-639-8371.
Have you been charged with a crime? You could face serious penalties for conviction, and it is vitally important that you have skilled legal assistance on your side during this time. Call Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law today. 888-512-6254. Results matter. With a track record of success, our methods are tried and true. Mistakes happen, but we can help. Brian L. Edwards, Esquire, Attorney at Law. Visit FortMyersCriminalLawFirm.com or call 888-512-6254.
Not everyone has the luck of the Irish. If a friend or family member is in trouble, call Shamrock Bail Bonds. Put our number into your phone, 239-332-2245, 239-332-2245, or go online at gobailmeout.com. Shamrock Bail Bonds provides fast, reliable service. Shamrock Bail Bonds, 1528 Broadway, downtown Fort Myers. Look for the Shamrock, and maybe luck will be on your side.
Hello, I'm Michael Manzi, owner of JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673. When starting this company 3 years ago, I had no clue that we would grow to what we have become. There is one thing I can say that we have done from the beginning is take pride in our work, making sure every customer we do work for is satisfied from beginning. Offering residential painting all the way to commercial painting with jobs done in a timely manner, with highly skilled professionals giving you top-of-the-line work. To help you create your new look, call JCI Solutions, 239-672-2673.
Struggling with addiction? You're not alone. At Phoenix House Project, we believe in second chances and brighter tomorrows. Our proven programs offer support, hope, and tools to rebuild your life. With expert care and a community that understands, transformation starts here. It's time to rise, reclaim your life, and become the best version of yourself. Visit phoenixhouseproject.squarespace.com today or call 239-244-7876. The journey to recovery begins with sober living. Phoenix House Project, where hope takes flight.
Kimmy's Recovery Zone, where hope meets action. We're here to guide the journey from treatment to thriving, healthy living. With peer support, public education, and vital resources like housing, employment, and Narcan training, we're building stronger communities. Ready to make an impact? Together, we're creating a network of recovery, resilience, and renewed lives. Kimmy's Recovery Zone, your hub for healing and hope. Visit us online today at kimmysrecoveryzone.org. It's not how we survive, it's how we thrive.
Join us for connection, encouragement, and real transformation. At Celebrate Recovery at Grace Church, we celebrate God's healing power through the 12 steps of recovery and the life-changing principles found in the Beatitudes. Whether you're overcoming a hurt, habit, or hang-up, Celebrate Recovery offers a safe and supportive community where you can grow, heal, and thrive. Add to your recovery because you're not alone, and healing is possible. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at one of the 3 Grace Church locations. Learn more at egracechurch.com/recovery.
When children have to play inside so they don't disappear.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery.
Welcome back to Rated R for Recovery. Rated R, this next segment of the show brought to you by Kimmy's Recovery Zone. Kimmy's Recovery Zone located in Fort Myers, and I can't think of anybody better to tell you what Kimmy's does than my co-host, Eileen. Eileen?
Well, thank you, John Nichols.
You need to talk into the mic,
Appreciate it.
please.
Can you hear me? Can
Very
everybody
good.
hear me?
Yes.
I'm pretty loud. Kimmy's is a recovery community organization. So we do referrals. We try to help people get into treatment. If they need help with setting up food stamps, there's so much that we do. We have 10 certified peer recovery specialists right now. So we do the training for certified peer recovery specialists. We do that there. We do a lot. We go into drug court, mental health court, veterans court, and we try to help people in there so they don't, keep doing the same thing over and over.
Very nice.
Because
Very
we
nice.
all have a shared living experience with drugs and alcohol.
Yes, like-minded people we all are. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that we are approved for sober living house. If you need to attend a meeting, this counts as a meeting, and also approved by Lee County and DeSoto County Felony Drug Court. I don't know why DeSoto County said yes, but they said yes. So anyway, now about Kimmy's, back to Kimmy's real quick. If I need to get a Social Security card, driver's license, or state ID, can you help with that?
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yep,
very
we
good.
can give you a letter so you can go down to the courthouse or the DMV, and they will give you a free ID with a letter from us certifying that you need one.
That's important stuff, especially in early recovery when I
Yes.
come in, when I've got a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, no shoes and socks, and one pair of underwear.
Yes.
No, anyway. You have a story about how you met Alan.
Oh, it's a great story. So before I started working at Kimmy's, I was working in sober living here in Fort Myers and Cape Coral. And every week I would hear from the guys in the houses, can Superman come this week? Can Superman come this week? And I'm like, who is the Superman guy? Because I was always at work. But then one day I came home, and I'm being dead serious when I say this. They were every week would ask if he can come and work with them. And of course, we wanted you to work with your sponsor. So I came in one day and I saw him.
With a big red S on the front of it?
No,
I was just
did
checking.
not. But he was with a big guy with red hair. And it broke my heart because this man, you could not get through to him for anything. And this man right here sat with him every week and went through the steps with him. And I saw such a change in him. I'll forever be grateful to you.
Oh.
Thank you.
And that's what this is all about. There's nothing, absolutely nothing that ensures sobriety than one addict or alcoholic working with another. Yeah. Is that what you found, Alan?
There's nothing that has helped me more than working with other people. And when I first got into this, I'm now a 7th grade English teacher. When I got into this, I was working at White Sands, and I was a tech.
We know that, yeah.
And I would chase anybody down who wanted to go through this with me after groups, after whenever, and take them through this stuff. And, you know, I just caught this fire. And that's when I really started to heal, and when I really started to know, okay, this is what life is about. And I mean, I pray I never lose this, and what's so great is I want to do this more than anything.
Yeah, that's what they say. We keep going to meetings until we want to go to meetings, and that's what I love doing. Everything I do in recovery. But this is not about me. This is about you. So tell us about the way of living.
Well, I'll first start. We, you know, when we first came down, I started leading the meetings with Dick and Charles, and then I led a beginners meeting with Gary at AWOL, and then Gary eventually left, and Kelly took over with me, and Kelly and I started doing that there, and there was the 1939 AA group. That's what they were called. And then Kelly and I had an opportunity. We actually started at Kimmy's.
Why don't you explain to them what the 1939 significance is?
Yeah. So our meetings are instructional. So we go through the big book line by line, and we teach the information. We use a dictionary, we look words up, and we really dive into the material in an instructional format. We take people through in a group setting, much like we do on a one-on-one sponsorship level, and teach the big book program as it was written.
Now, I believe the reference to 1939 is the first printing of this book. Is that what it's referring to?
Correct.
Yes.
Book was written in 35, 36, printed in 39. So that's a cool reference you have there.
So Kelly and I, we went to Kimmy's when it was over in the first spot. They let us do their meeting there on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then we actually had to shift. And when Kelly and I branched, we wanted to name our group. And, you know, we got it from the forward to first. It says, you know, many do not comprehend the alcoholic as a very sick person. And besides, we are sure that our way of living has its advantages for all. So that's where we got the name from. And one big thing for us was everybody, family members included. And we prayed on this for a while because family is key.
That was one thing when we were at the AWOL Club, and then when we were at Kimmy's as well. We started having family members coming, you know, to observe with the alcoholic and the addict, and we just got such a heart for the family and saw how they were sick and broken too, just in a different way. And most of our home group members are White Sands alumni, just because, you know, Alan worked there. We still have the opportunity to bring meetings into the treatment center, so we fish for newcomers there. And, you know, while they're in treatment and they're getting therapy and they're getting help, you know, their family is home picking up the pieces, and they're also dealing with fear and resentment and all the stuff that we deal with too. And so we just really felt it led on our heart to open with welcome arms the family members into our fellowship.
I mean, there's a chapter, the family afterward. You know, like everything in here that I found is family, bring them along, help them. And that was what God led us to start doing. And, you know, like we do a beginners meeting now starting in April. It's going to be led by Sandra and Mike, who are out here. They're going to do that at the IOP Center. One of us will go into White Sands Detox, and then Friday nights we do it at the treatment center as well. And then every other Sunday we have a couple, addict, alcoholic, and family member, brings a meeting in designed for that. So that's way of living, and we're just trying to teach this to anybody.
And is this is not an A specific then? This is just recovery specific.
Correct.
Taught out of the original manuscript or
Correct.
the original book of recovery from drugs and alcohol.
Correct.
And again, like you said, you said that your name of your thing, in that paragraph it says, besides we think our way of living has its advantages for all. If you notice, it doesn't say advantages for just addicts and alcoholics. It says advantages for
all.
All means if you're upright and breathing, because once again, the alcohol and drugs is merely a symptom of a greater problem. The problem is me and my way of thinking and the way I see the world.
I've taken family members through this book. Kelly has as well. And you know, they're powerless over their own things. So when we're going through those early chapters, we teach them about addiction. You know, like we're not all making this stuff up. Yeah. Let's say we got an allergy and like we can't stop. You know, we teach them about it. And then, but everything else after that, they all go through the same stuff.
So I think we can all agree that everybody, well, this is just my opinion, but everybody could use a 12-step program.
I certainly agree with that.
But and the thing with it is families, a lot of families, when you're coming in, like for myself included, when I was first coming into treatment, you know, I didn't even know I was, it's funny when you said I didn't need a survey to say that I did, you know, because I thought that I could get away with, you know, keeping doing that. But when I answered yes to every question, I knew I had a serious problem. And my family, God rest her soul, my mother, she would do anything to help me because she didn't realize until I went into treatment just what I would do to get my drugs. You know what I mean? So family is so important. So I love that you guys are doing that.
Let me ask you a question. What would you say is the difference, if any, between what you're doing and what Al-Anon does?
As far as I know, they don't go through this, right? They don't go through this. So I would probably say the difference, just from what I know, is we go through this book the way this was designed and work it just like how I would with anybody else. We do at our meetings, like we encourage participation and you know, engagement and stuff like that. So.
And we also have Al-Anon members that attend our meetings. You know, so we're certainly not, they're not, what's the word?
Excluded?
Mutually exclusive,
Yeah.
is that the word? So, you know, we're teaching the program in the big book. They have their own literature and their own support community that we certainly endorse as well.
So can and these meetings are open to anybody and anyone at any time?
Yes.
And why don't you give us another, tell us again where you meet and what times you meet, and for what, you know, like you said, there were some that were for everybody. Give that description again.
Go ahead, Cal.
We have 2 meetings at the White Sands IOP facility. It's off of Metro Parkway on Metropolis Avenue. It's where they meet for their groups. You know, when they get out of treatment and they have the intensive outpatient care. They don't have IOP on Tuesday or Friday night, so we are allowed to use their facility those 2 nights. So Tuesday night at 6:30, there's a beginners meeting, and then Friday night, it's a full book study. And both meetings are open to alcoholics, addicts, family members. If you've got another problem, you know, anybody that needs a spiritual way of life can certainly come.
Tuesday night at 6:30?
Tuesday at 6:30.
Friday at?
6:30.
6:30? And both are Metropolis Avenue in Fort Myers?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. And so when, let's say I start going this Friday, what do I have to expect?
Well, you're going to expect, I mean, we go through this.
Where are you? I'm going to show up, let's say I show up tomorrow night. What are we doing?
This week, we're in Bill's story.
Okay.
Every week, we go over some basic information, like, you know, you'll read how it works at every meeting. We do the title page at every meeting. We do the forward at every meeting. There's some times where just something strikes us during the week where we might start off with just sort of something out there. If for some reason it's a Friday night and we see like 5 new faces and 2, we're going to get more into the beginner stuff.
Very nice.
Always, you know, the reading the crowd, and then if not, you know, then we'll pick up from where we left off, and I don't know, I think the last cycle took us a year, maybe a year and 2 or 3 months. We don't rush whatever we get to,
Sure.
Yeah.
I've attended big book studies where you may make it through a paragraph in the hour that you're there. So that's it. And I started with the gentleman that you had mentioned early on in recovery. So, okay, so now tell us a little bit about your journey to this point. What brought you to the point where you thought that you could develop a meeting or not an organization, but to the point where you're at now? How did you get there?
I mean, I would credit a majority of the people sitting out here.
That's why we want you on that's why we want them on every week, by the way.
And if we don't know you and you're out there, we hope to see you at our meeting. We'd love to have you. Because we do get to go to White Sands, and since Alan worked there for the first several years that we've lived here, he had this opportunity to reach, you know, people that were in treatment. And so we started bringing meetings in there, and then that's how the way of living, meeting, fellowship all began. Was we wanted to help them outside of the treatment center. And thanks to Kimmy's, I mean, that's where it all started.
Yes.
My sponsor's very involved over there, Jen Brady, and And
Speaking of Kimmy's Recovery Zone, starting next week, we're going to have a second segment that's specifically sponsored by Kimmy's Recovery Zone. Okay. And Al Kinkle, who is the founder of Kimmy's, and Heidi Webb, who is the CEO of Kimmy's, will be responsible for that second segment. So that should be very exciting. Another question is, Alan, I'm curious about this. You teach 7th grade English.
I do.
What are the advantages of having this knowledge with your students?
It has made a world of difference, because when they say advantages for all, it includes them. I pray they're getting the best of me every day. And you want to talk about a spiritual workout. And doing my nightly inventory is a lot different during the school year than it's not, because I beg God for power to I can't do it without him. And I hope they're getting the best of me. And I've had, I'm not afraid to tell them that Mr. S goes and helps drug addicts and alcoholics, because I've had kids, their moms and dads are my age, a little younger, and they say, oh, like my mom, yeah, she drinks. And they'll come up to me and talk to me. And, I have no problem letting them know.
Sure.
And I hope God is using me to just give the best that I can for them, and hopefully to teach them more than just writing essays and stuff. It's about life and trying to live right. I tell them all along, if they're in a bad mood or they're in a bad spot, I say, help somebody else.
Absolutely. And you know what you just said, you have no problem saying Mr. S helps addicts and alcoholics. It is an anonymous program, but that's up to you whether you want to be anonymous or not, because I'm not going to say that you're this, that, or that, but I wear it on my sleeve. I'll tell the checkout lady at the grocery store, I'm in recovery from drugs and alcohol.
And he does.
And I do, actually, because you never know when somebody's going to say, oh, really? Because I have a relative, I have a son, a daughter, somebody in my life, because the biggest devastation of what I do when I'm in my addiction is that I hurt the people I love and that love me. And I don't want to do that anymore.
I had one of my students the other day, because I mentioned that, me and Mrs. S, we go to White Sands, and she's like, oh, you mean like a sponsor? So now that tells me that something's going on where they know in the family.
Very good.
It's a big thing, like people don't realize, like Kimmy's, I'm not trying to bring up Kimmy's, but
Sure, you should.
Al Kinkle really fought hard, and this is going to sound crazy, to bring Narcan into the schools, because they really needed it. So now we're in 120 schools in Lee County with Narcan. That's a big thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but it's good.
They're vaping in the 6th grade, and they're doing this stuff young. I try to teach. We have this thing called Wellness Wednesday every month, where we talk about things like this, and the kids roll their eyes, but I love it. Because if I can get a chance to try to teach them about this.
7th grade is junior high. Well, please forgive me. It used to be junior
That's what
high.
it was called when I was young too, so don't feel too
Middle school now.
Middle school.
Okay,
Middle school.
so they vape?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Do they use the
And it's
Delta
not just
88 stuff
nicotine
too?
either.
Huh?
Is it Delta 88 or is that a car?
I don't know what it is.
Well, so it's this stuff that you can vape that's weed. That's
Delta 8.
THC,
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
Delta 8.
Yep.
Delta 8.
But I think they
Delta
get the
88
actual
was a
vape
Buick.
ones.
Sorry. Please forgive me. All right. So did they try to get away with stuff like that at that age group?
They do. They do.
How do you handle it?
I mean, admin does. We try to talk to them about the dangers of it. And again, my admin knows, hey, if you ever need me to talk, I'm there. Just let me know.
That's a shame, because if any of you are like me, when I was in school, at whatever age I was, they had the sheriff or the cop or the doctor come in with this box, and they'd open up this box, and there would be a joint, there would be a pill, there would be a syringe, and they would tell us the dangers of drugs and alcohol, which went in one ear and out the other. And I rolled my eyes at it, but hopefully some of the kids are paying attention today, because today's a little bit different. When I was growing up, because my parents were all the World War II generation, so their drugs of choice, if they had a drug problem, was alcohol. I don't know, they didn't smoke weed. There might have been those drugs around, but it wasn't associated with my parents' generation. So now, because I work in a treatment center, that I hear the stories of, my mom's been smoking crack ever since I've been a child, and I'm like, whoa, what? Mm-hmm. And just the trauma that goes along with the addiction, and it's just amazing. It blows me away. So you must hear some tremendous stories from these kids that...
and smell it on people's breaths.
Oh.
Parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't say anything, right? Okay. All right.
Pray.
So what we're going to do is we're going to take another commercial break. Sorry if there's too many commercials here. But when we come back, Kelly and Alan are going to play 2 more songs off their new album. You're listening to Rated R for Recovery. That's Rated R, the number 4, recovery.com.
Struggling with life's challenges? At the